Hey everyone, welcome back to the Board Game Spotlight. Today we're going to look at Jetpack Joyride. This is the tabletop implementation of the hit mobile app of the same name. So let's take this to the table and I'm going to tell you about it. In Jetpack Joyride, you are trying to escape your laboratory. There are 4 sector cards and you're going to start from the left and you need to make it an escape out of the right sector. Now, the game is played in real time. However, there's no counter, there's no timer. The other players at the table are who you are racing against. So the game plays very quickly and it's very easy to understand. So here is how you play. You're going to have a center pool of tiles. Players can, one at a time, pick up a tile and start in their left sector and move across from left to right. Now there are some placement rules with how you have to place these tiles. And the goal of the game is to escape from sector 1 and exit in sector 4. So on the first turn, the youngest player is going to yell, "Run." That signals to everybody at the table that you can start placing your tiles. Now when you take your first tile, you have to start it off of your grid. So it has to enter into your first sector. From there, when you take another tile, it has to at least touch orthogonally with a tile you've previously placed. You can't place over the top. You cannot place diagonal. It must be orthogonally adjacent to a tile you've previously placed. Now this is important because there are some goals that you're trying to accomplish while playing. Namely, you want to run over these coins because the coins are victory points. Additionally, there are going to be 3 mission cards available every run phase, and these are available for the players at the table to accomplish. So if you place 5 tiles in one sector, then you'll score 3 victory points. If you are to escape the lab, which is to make it left to right and escape out of the right sector card, you'll score 3 victory points. And here, if you run 10 blocks on foot, then you would score 5 victory points. So when you run on the floor, if you have 10 tiles that touch the ground floor, that will help accomplish that goal. Now the run phase is going to end in 3 different ways. A player is going to exclaim, "I've escaped," and they have placed tiles that lead them out of the laboratory. Or players will say they pass, which means that they can no longer follow the tile placement rules, or there are no more tiles for any players to draw, which would signal the end of the run phase. So at the end of the run phase, you will take your score card and then you'll add up the number of coins that you have placed over, and you'll add up the number of victory points you scored based on the mission cards that you've accomplished. At the end of the first and second rounds, you're then going to draw these gadget cards equal to the number of players, and then the player who has the least amount of victory points is going to get their first choice. So there are a number of these cards that are going to aid players in their escape. There's a number of gadgets that are going to aid players, which kind of turns it into a semi-asymmetric game based on what the players accumulate. Now, at the end of a round, depending on the number of players, if you're playing 2 players, you're going to go ahead and flip over each of the sectors that you played with. So now you have a new laboratory that you're going to play on. If you're playing 3 or 4 players, you would then pass your laboratory to the player on your left. At the end of the 3rd round, the player with the most victory points is declared the winner. Jetpack Joyride is fun, fast-paced, and frantic. It is a fantastic implementation of the hit mobile app to the tabletop genre. If you're a fan of Jetpack Joyride, take a look at the campaign. If this game sounds interesting to you and you want to know more about Jetpack Joyride, take a look at the description below for a link to the Kickstarter campaign. This has been Derek with the Board Game Spotlight, and this has been your preview of Jetpack Joyride.